And it gives lifelink. Yeah.
We're gonna see all these awesome cards live in action. So let's go.
All right, here we are for coverage of Grand Prix Anaheim. This is round 7, I believe. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I will be joined by Rashad Miller momentarily here. We're going to be seeing a match today versus Kenneth Lyman versus Godenis Vidugiris. It's just Lyman. Yeah, Ken Lyman. You get a good look at Ken there. Looks like he's semi-local, being from California maybe, with his Oakland A's hat. And if you don't know who that guy is, you haven't been paying attention in the last few weeks.
Isn't he the captain of the Lithuanian team for
he is
the World Magic Cup?
He is, and he is Godenis Vidugiris.
He also lives in New York.
He does. I drafted against him when I visited New York.
You didn't hear that from me.
Why? What?
I mean,
you meant New York, Lithuania, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's. I visited there. It's a lot like New York, New York. All right, we see an opener from Ken here. I really like Ken's deck.
Looks like he's got 6 cards.
And he's going to keep. And he's just going to Faithless Looting. That essentially puts him at 5 cards here.
Ooh, but we get to pick which 5.
Yeah.
Choices. That's what it's more about. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
I like quantity. Brimstone Volley and Island hit the bin, and he's just going to ship the turn back. So Go is a master of this deck. I mean, he knows how to play it. He put himself in a position to win a Pro Tour. He almost got there. A couple of things go right for him, and he wins.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been playing Magic for a long time. He's almost as old school as I am. He grew up in the Wisconsin area, so
yep. Wisconsin, Lithuania.
Yeah. So I would see him at those Wisconsin, Lithuanian PTQs because every now and then, I'd splurge for a flight and go out there and I'd be like, hey, go.
I hear those are soft, yeah. So Godenis gets in with his Pilgrim and then casts an Invisible Stalker.
Yeah, one of the mainstays of the deck.
It's one of his win cons for sure.
Yeah.
We see Ken go search up a plane, so he's a 3-color deck. He's also playing blue.
So it's so he's all American.
He is.
As one would say.
Did you look at his deck name? Memorial Day Special.
Oh, the Memorial Day Special. You're a couple of days too early, but we're fine.
And the deck designer is Christina Lyman, which we can only assume is his wife. It might be his sister.
Could be sister or aunt.
His Aunt Christina.
Yeah, thanks Aunt Christina for
designing this awesome Magic deck for me. And we see a Geist of St. Traff come right off the top for Godenis.
I think Godenis would be content with, instead of playing more guys, just some type of pop effect on the one that he has.
Yeah.
Because he sees, look at those 3 colors. 2 of those are the sweeper colors.
Yes.
And one
white
of them,
and red. Yep.
Yeah, one of them could be, Devastation type. I mean.
All right, but it looks like he is going to go with the Geist or something here because he just decided to attack.
Yep.
Geist it is.
Probably play, is that a
Evolving Wilds? Yep. So he might just not have had a pump. We can only see the forest in his hand. I see a forest and a Silent Departure.
And there is
boom!
Terminus.
Terminus right off the top.
I warned you.
Man,
I warned you, Godenis.
He's happy he got that white mana in before this happened.
I said, look at the colors. Didn't you hear me?
You did. You said sweeper colors. I heard you.
I mean, I ran over there and told him too. Really fast, because I'm actually faster than
some
would think.
That I know is a lie. You did not run over there. I was sitting right next to you the whole time.
And I also did not lose to Richard Hagan in a foot race, no matter what you may have heard on Twitter.
Okay.
That did not happen.
Look, Rich's mind is very quick. There's no reason for me to think that his feet aren't either.
I don't know. Have you seen his hair? That hair is not aerodynamic. I am streamlined, as you can tell.
Oh, yes, you are.
So Godenis is still at the end of Ken's turn. Now we're going to take our turn and
so he's got to rebuild his board here to get pressure back on Ken.
Looks like he's going to start with an Abundant Growth.
Abundant Growth. That is not necessarily what he wants to be doing
You have to draw a card.
Yeah, but you'd rather be playing one. He's obviously digging for something. Yeah, he just passes the turn back. He's sitting on lands and a silent departure, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all that action was those 2 cards that we saw him play.
Yep.
And they're now shuffled back into his library somewhere.
No, they are shuffled, you're right.
And here's a Tamiyo.
And a Tamiyo into an empty board. This is a great situation for Ken.
Now, the one saving grace, I would say.
He's going to tap the abundant growth plains.
Yeah. I mean,
what is the saving grace? I don't know what the saving grace is here. This is pretty bad.
But Tamiyo has the ability, that's similar to a Johnny Vengeance, if you remember that card.
I love a Johnny Vengeance.
Yeah. But you know what? When Tamiyo gets up to like 8 or 9, it doesn't destroy all your land.
No.
It just kind of makes you play the game a little bit better.
Okay. A little bit better might be an understatement.
A little bit better.
A little bit better. Turns your thought scours into ancestral recalls.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so we have an invisible stalker for Go, but it's not helped by anything. And he just drew a Geist of St. Traft, so
we're back. I think we're drawing a part of the deck that got shuffled away.
Yeah, maybe you're right. He's just going to pass a turn. Does he not have mana for Geist?
Well, I think he has. Looks like
he doesn't.
A blue. He doesn't have any white.
Jeez, another Terminus off the top. Yeah, there's another white because you can see slightly off camera is being Tamiyo'd.
Yeah, and he used the plains. The plains was his target for the abundant growth, which
that's right.
It's like double duty. Get you.
So he has blue with the Hinterland Harbor, but he doesn't have white.
If you want to go to dinner, come to the public message.
So now he has double blue.
Yeah, which is not going to get him anywhere currently.
Let's see what Ken has in store.
Ken is going to Faithless Looting. Now, I assume he still has that one in the graveyard, too, that he can flash back.
And I guess Faithless Looting is pretty good
at this stage
when you ultimate a Tamiyo.
Sure. Why?
Because you just draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
You draw 2 cards, and then you reveal 2 to your opponent.
So Nate Price is in heaven in that case, but I like drawing 3 better than 2. It's just me.
Two's
Would you have Terminus there?
Two.
Would you have Terminus there?
What, right now?
No, he drew it on his last turn and he just snapped Terminus.
When did he draw Terminus?
Did you see how that Invisible Stalker's gone? He Terminused it last turn.
Oh yeah, if it was for 1 mana, yeah.
You would?
Yeah. How's he getting rid of it?
I might wait.
In 6 mana?
Yeah. Because Go has to play another spell.
Yeah, but Go Dennis has not played a spell there was 3 turns where he didn't play a spell, and then he finally played an Invisible Stalker. You have to assume that there's nothing else. That's his only threat.
But I mean, what my assumption is that he's going to hit white mana at some point, and then he's going to play something, or that he's going to draw something. Is this a Wolf or Silverheart coming down?
You know what? If that Tamiyo gets ultimate,
then you don't care anyway.
Because you flash back your Faithless Lootings,
and
you draw.
So look at the situation now, though. Tamiyo would take a big hit here, but then you untap and you just Terminus him.
Yeah, I guess, but your Tamiyo's
I think it's an argument.
Parity. Yeah, because then your Tamiyo's at parity as long as that Invisible Stalker's there.
Yeah, because I definitely see what you're saying. If you go all in for getting Tamiyo to ultimate level as soon as humanly possible, then you have a really good chance to win the game if you get her there. Okay.
Because then you don't care what happens to your Tamiyo.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if he has other answers in hand for things like Wolf or Silverheart, because that's going to just wreck Tamiyo if he can't get rid of it.
We shall see. He has 2 Faithless Lootings in his graveyard, and I don't know. Let's see what type of low mana cost effects he has. I don't see any.
Okay, he ultimates Tamiyo right now, and also, he's got another one. So let's get an emblem on the table here, and then he's just going to follow it up with another Tamiyo, I'm pretty sure. Lock down the Wolfear Silverheart. This is going to be just a beating for Dennis to come back from.
Yeah, and actually the Wolfear wasn't a threat to the Tamiyo anyway, because the Tamiyo just targets the Wolfear Silverheart.
You're right, and a lone target. But what I was saying is if he had saved the Terminus. But now, mission accomplished. What you were saying that he wanted to do, he did, so.
If he had saved the Terminus, then the Invisible Stalker would have taken a big chunk out of
Tamiyo, and then he would have been able to 2-for-1 him, but... Alright, that is a Tamiyo emblem.
Which is very...
Theoretically. I have one of those with me.
You should... Should we take one over there?
Yeah.
It'll take too long. All right. And by the time we get there, the game will probably be over, and he'll never ultimate Tamiyo again.
Yeah. Or he'll do it again. We need another emblem.
Yeah. So, this is when things get exciting for Ken. He's able to flash back all these awesome cards.
That is a pillar.
I wonder.
That's
Oh,
another pillar.
He's just
He just killed it.
keep
He just
pillaring.
did it twice.
Yeah, he could just keep doing it
Yeah.
forever.
And hey,
ever.
guess what?
And there's
Tamio.
Tamio.
Keep your white source locked down again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a driver's seat for sure right now. This is a tough spot for Godenis to come back from.
Godenis is definitely not the type who will concede. He's
Oh no.
Never,
He's
never say
he's a
die.
warrior. Yeah.
I think there's a.
He's at 20 live.
Yeah. He's at 20 life, but
Hey.
he's so far behind.
Hey, look, an invisible stalker.
If we had a little bar that showed like who was actually ahead, it would be so far towards Ken's side.
Can you make that bar? The who's really ahead bar?
I mean, I can do anything. Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking. So.
Yeah, I can. I
Okay.
can make a bar like
All
that.
right. Yep.
Maybe
the
I
who's
will.
really ahead bar. I want that.
That's the next. I put it on. It's in the queue.
It's
The momentum.
You're an innovator. I mean,
the
you're the
momentum
one that
bar.
comes up with this new stuff.
We call it the
I look to you
momentum
for
swinger.
Yeah, the momentum bar.
Because right now it's way in Ken's favor, and
It
there's
is.
really nothing that Godenis can. Well, I'm not going to
So,
say this because
so
this
he
is magic.
can. So Godenis can easily rip increasing savagery. Make that thing a 5/5. He can't target it. Like,
Oh, that's
sure,
true.
pillar of flame away. It's not going to do anything. He can kill Tamio if he wants, or he can even just dome him 3 times
Ken
and it's
can
over.
draw so many cards right now.
Yeah. Now that's the thing is that Ken is in the driver's seat still. I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm saying that Go has legitimate outs to win this game.
Yeah, he has 2 Faithless Looters in his graveyard. That's
Yeah.
tap 3, draw 2 cards.
Unfortunately,
That's what that
I
says.
think Ken also has Bonfire of the Damned in his hand, and if that's the case,
No, that's the same pillar.
oh, it's just a pillar still.
Yeah, that
okay,
pillar,
all
that
right.
pillar
So
it
we're
just
live
stays in
here.
his hand.
I think he shortcutted it and just did it 3 times.
I think he's just pillaring him out.
Yep.
It's like, let's race. Let's go, Invisible Stalker. Can you beat pillar 3 times a turn?
Yeah. And currently he can't, but there are cards in Go's deck that can make this a legitimate race.
Yeah. I think I probably would have flashed back one of those Faithless Looters to draw 2 cards just to see something new.
He might be out of red mana, right?
Well, instead
oh,
of
you're
the
saying
triple
instead
pillar.
of that? Yeah.
You know, two's enough, right?
I don't know.
Isn't it? Well, maybe he did the math. I didn't do the math. How many turns is this? It's 6, so it's
6, 12, 18, 24. It's 4 turns.
yeah.
If he hits another red mana source, then he can make it 3 turns, even if he didn't do it 3 times that
Right.
first turn.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the plan because he wouldn't have got a planes unless he really needs double white for a spell.
Right.
Wants to cast a white spell twice. Let's see what did he draw. He drew another pillar?
Yeah, that's irrelevant. Pillars, he has.
Well, what did he just draw? Did he draw Bonfire? No, it's Devil's
That's
Play.
Devil's Play, so that's going to do it.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I can't race Devil's Play.
No,
Devil's
because there's
Play.
no one draw that can get him out of that situation.
Nah.
And I don't think that Go's playing any dissipates in the main.
Nope. He has
4 on the
He
side.
has 4 on the sideboard. They're probably coming in. Seems like a great card to bring in against a deck that when cards go to the graveyard, they don't instead.
Right.
So you just want to... Man, I never even thought about that. If you, after you ultimate Tamio, you have a Tamio emblem.
Yeah.
And, you know, with conventional counter magic, even though this format doesn't really have anything other than Dissipate, there is a lot of, like, just counter target spell. But if there were, that card just goes back to your hand. It makes all of your opponent's counter spells a remand where you don't draw a card.
Wait, what?
It makes all of your opponent's counter spells
Uh-huh.
a remand where your opponent doesn't draw a card.
Oh, but dissipate still works, right?
Yeah, but Dissipate's the only one that works.
Uh-huh.
And in this format, Dissipate's the only real counter spell, so I was like,
That's kind of awesome.
it is. I think that was one of the...
Makes it into a remand.
Yeah, except you don't draw a card.
It just delays it one time.
It's delay. It's not even delay. It's just the worst remand ever.
Yeah.
Probably costs more than a remand, too.
I mean, it does delay it though, right?
I mean, you could just play it again the same turn if you have mana.
Yeah.
So let's look. I mean, we talked a little bit about Godenis' sideboard with the 4 dissipates. I think that might be it. He has like some Wolfvale Avengers, Graph Digger's Cage, some Tree of Redemptions, and those don't really do much. I think it's just
Those
the
don't do
dissipates.
anything.
Yeah.
Just it dissipates, but those do a lot. Dissipate does a lot.
Maybe Graph Digger's Cage, so you can't flash back some of those flashback spells. Possibly. Graph Digger's Cage does not stop Tamio's emblem.
I think it's a replacement effect. I don't think it ever makes it to the graveyard. Tamios. So, yeah, I think you're right.
And even if it did, I don't think it stops spells from coming back from the graveyard to your hand.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it just stops you from casting them from the graveyard. Now we look at Ken's sideboard, and I immediately see a card that I don't remember what it does. Arcwing Dragon.
Oh, I know what that does.
What does it do?
So it's 2 red for a 4/4 flying haste dragon.
Oh, and you have to, and it returns to your hand.
At the end of turn.
So it's like the Viashino Sandstalker, except it flies. You don't know what that card is, do you?
Sure. It's like an Arcwing Dragon.
It is. It is, except it doesn't fly and it's a 4/2.
No, I have no idea what that is. It comes back?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing's evasive, and it's a great mana sink late game if you've stabilized.
Yeah. He has the Gisela, but there's no Giselas in the main, just the one on the board, and there's a bunch of one-ofs of things that...
Who do you think's going to win this? Who's favorite?
Are we talking about Grand Prix Anaheim? Because we're a little early to figure out who's going to win that.
I'm talking about this match.
I don't want to spoil it for the people who
I'm talking about this match.
This match right here.
I mean, Ken's obviously got a big edge here. He's up a game.
I want to say that Goldenis' hand wasn't very good.
Okay.
We really didn't see what his deck can do. He had a couple of creatures, no real pumps for it, and a lot of land, and he was really banking on those two, hexproof creatures is going all the way, and they got Terminus.
And we still haven't figured out why that Abundant Growth ended up on the plains. Like you mentioned, it kind of put him all in for that one land, and it left it available to be tapped down and took away essentially 2 colors.
Yeah, maybe.
I still think Goldenis is going to win.
I mean, he's a great player.
Yeah, I just think he's going to find a way here.
His deck is very explosive. But as we can see, if Tamiyo ever gets going and gets to the point where, he has a ripped up piece of paper in front of him with words scribbled on it. Winning the game, when your opponent has that little piece of paper, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
And it's really fun when you have that piece of paper.
It's even better if you have the actual emblem.
I think if you're playing Tamiyo and your plan is to ultimate Tamiyo for the win, you should invest time or something else in getting, Tamiyo emblems.
There's a couple of ways to do it. You can get a Tamiyo emblem.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. They are cheap, but for an emblem, they're not cheap.
I mean, they're worth just as much as any other Magic card.
Right. And then the other thing you can do is, you can just kind of make your own.
Yeah, I guess.
I've got a friend, Inkwell Looter. He makes them.
You could just draw them.
I mean, that's what we ended up having here, right?
I think Ken should have drawn a picture of Tamiyo on that piece of paper. I want to see his rendition of Tamiyo.
I think that would have been the best solution.
I think we should
I have 3 of them.
Allow anything other than that.
I have somehow opened 3 of those things.
I didn't really... Are they rare? Is it hard to open?
They're rare for a token, yeah. They don't come up very often.
There's an outlet.
They are in high demand.
Or did you find an outlet already?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm very resourceful.
I see. Looks like we are going to both mulligan down to 6, so we can chat a little bit more about something.
I think that was a no-lander.
I've kept a no-lander before.
No, you haven't.
At a Pro Tour.
Please don't say that's true. Was it elves?
No. It was all in red. I had a
Simian Spirit Guy. Okay. That doesn't count as a no-lander.
It might.
I played against an opponent at a Grand Prix, my first one, in Portland last year. He kept a no-lander. He was on a play.
Oh, I just remembered another no-lander. But you go ahead.
He told me to go.
Okay.
I looked at him and I said, but it's your turn first. And he said, yep, we're good here, go.
Yeah.
I said, okay. He beat me.
Well, I was playing against Billy Moreno, who's working for...
He works with Ryan, yeah.
R&D. And it was game 3. He was playing Flash Hulk. And he kept the no-lander. And he said go. And, I was playing 43 land.
Something fair.
Yeah, 43 land. That's the deck I was playing. And I'm like, I can't possibly win this now. And then I'm like, as soon as he draws a land, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Because he's playing Flash Hulk.
Because that's what Flash Hulk did.
And then he drew a land and played it and said go. and then I beat him.
You beat him.
Yes.
So he just made a
Yeah, he was
questionable
like,
keep.
yeah, he was, no, he thought he had a different card in his hand.
Oh,
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
so you outplayed him.
I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying that after he did it, he was like, oh. It was like right immediately after he said go, he realized it. I didn't know that there, but like after he was like, yeah.
What was the setting?
What do you mean?
What tournament? Like a GP?
It was a GP. It was the Flash Hook GP. The one tournament that Flash Hook was legal.
Who won that? Did Steve win that?
Steve Saden won it.
Steve won that, right?
He beat Owen Turnwall in the finals.
Steve Saden, everybody.
With playing Flash Hulk, never knew how to do the combo.
We stall him and make him do coverage too much, but
yeah, he's gonna be in
Vancouver. That guy can straight up play. I'm gonna be in Vancouver too.
I'm gonna be in Vancouver. High five.
High five, yeah.
So we're both going to 5. Maybe we both go to 4 and we get another no land story.
I mean, this definitely favors Dennis's deck. It needs fewer things to happen, although it still needs a reasonable.
And he has, Pilgrims in his deck, so now he has 2 land.
Ooh, the dagger, he drew a Terminus, just drew it. Faithless Looting for lands this time. Might just want to pitch that Terminus here. I mean, I can't see exactly what his land situation is.
Well, he just pitched the island, so it must be pretty good.
And he is going to throw away the Terminus too.
He must have. He has
no
island.
white sources, so and
Yeah, and 2 islands in his hand.
That's an interesting use of Faithless Looting, saying these miracles are great when I draw them, but if I am in their hand, I can just kind of get rid of them. Stock? No, that can't be a stalker. What is this?
2 land. Oh,
it's an Earheath Pilgrim, and it looks like he did not pair them up. He sets them on top of each other when he does it.
Yeah, this could have been a situation where you might consider pairing because you both mulligan to 5, and you know how much damage is that guy gonna get in?
Well, remember, it doesn't change the amount of damage. It's just a life gain thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, what is this mana tap for?
This
is a pillar on. I'd pillar the Pilgrim. The life gain is not relevant here.
It's still 2 power.
If Ken's deck does what it's trying to do, it's gonna kill Dennis, no matter what his life total is.
Yeah, but we're probably a far ways off because we them all to 5 and
so
drawing a lot of action.
So that's what I'm saying is that I am going to get rid of that Pilgrim and try to put a crimp on the, I don't know if greedy is the right term, but like the strained mana base that Dennis is working under.
Yeah, I mean this is a mulligan to 5. You can't call anything greedy. I mean you could everything is hopeful when you keep
I just meant when they design the deck.
I guess you could call it greedy. It's pretty.
I mean, have you seen the mana? It's okay.
It's fine.
I mean, it's working well within the constraints of block, but it's strained. Like it's not a comfortable mana base. I don't think.
Abundant Growth does a lot of work.
It does.
Say that.
It does, unless it gets tapped in by Tameo for 5 turns in a row.
And Tameo like double worked you.
Yeah.
Usually Abundant Growth isn't a 2-for-1 when you tap the
well, it's still just a 1-for-1 he drew a card.
Let's sort out.
So we noticed that Dennis didn't sacrifice his Evolving Wilds on end step. And
he wants to draw a land.
It's because he doesn't know which color he needs yet.
Yeah, that too.
because the mana's tough.
Looks like you just draw another Pilgrim? Oh no, you drew
an Abundant Growth. Into a Cavern of Souls.
Ooh, what do you name though? I don't see any creatures in.
I saw a Dissipate and I saw a
Maybe
Garrick?
that is yeah, it looks like it might be a Garrick. That could actually be a Geist of St. Trav.
That is a Geist of St. Trav. So you're going to name
Spirit.
Yeah. And he will be sacrificing his Evolving Wilds this time. Okay, a Geist is a great start. Now he is facing down a Snapcaster Mage.
That guy's scary.
He blocks.
He does block.
He blocks the Geist of St. Trav. Yeah, so this is where the mulligan... Oh, are we tanking on a Miracle decision?
I don't know.
Is there any Miracle that we would tank on here?
Bonfire?
Yeah, but would you really think about it? You'd only do 2 to him. Wouldn't do anything. If it was a Bonfire, you should draw it as fast as your brain can let you, because you do not want to let Dennis know that you have a Bonfire. I mean...
It's not going to do a lot of value, and it is a Bonfire that he drew. So
it was?
Yeah, he has a Bonfire in his hand.
Well, we should assume that Dennis is aware of that then.
Yeah.
But... does Dennis have another play anyway? I mean, can he afford to just not play Geist of St. Traft?
It's definitely an option now if he knows that there's a Bonfire.
I mean, he's not under that much pressure currently, but he's really doing nothing otherwise.
He could wait and play something first. Get to the point where he can play Geist of St. Traft and a pump spell on it at the same time.
That could work, because that's going to put it out of range.
Yeah, like lead, maybe wait till he gets to 5 mana, lead with like a Wolfia Silverheart.
Mm-hmm. I think he just drew one. All right, it looks like he is just going to geist it up here anyway.
He doesn't care.
I think he just feels like, you know, if he passes the turn and Ken uses his whole next turn to just 1-for-1 him, he's okay with that.
And Ken still needs to draw second land in order to do that. Well, I'd say a second land. I mean a fifth land.
Right.
The land that gives him the second X.
That's right.
Ken also has Faithless Looting in his graveyard still. So.
He's definitely got things to do with his mana.
Yeah, he can get the land eventually, but probably I think that's Evolving Wilds and not a Lighthouse, right?
I couldn't tell. It looked like a lighthouse to me. It's a Wilds.
Yeah, it's Evolving Wilds.
Yep.
So we're going to be waiting a turn before.
Wow, but he attacked anyway.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, that attack.
Is he really just going to take 6 here? Whoa.
What could he be bluffing? Nothing that I could think of. Another Snapcaster?
I mean, sure, does Godenis play around it? No way.
Well, if he draws a way to give his Geist-Sink Trap, you know, a little extra oomph, then he obviously he plays it, but doesn't look like he did. And he's just going to attack and at least get 4 damage.
I don't know about trading 2 damage for 6. That isn't even Rashad Miller fair.
No, I don't think I'd do that. Or call that fair.
Especially when Go's deck has very few ways to actually deal with creatures.
So 4th mana for Godenis.
Looks like Garrick is going to come down and maybe just fight.
Well, Garrick comes down and fight. That makes that bonfire even better.
Although they got to get that angel out of there. Why is that angel sitting there?
It's about to go away.
There was a miss trigger here. Or he's just going to make he's not going to fight. He's just going to make a wolf. So he's going to stay aggressive. Get that angel
bonfire still kills everything.
Because the angel actually leaves at the end of combat, not at the end of the turn. I think they were.
The bonfire doesn't kill the Garrick. No, because
it's at 3.
Yeah, it's at 3.
And it would have been at 1 if he would have fought.
Right.
Okay.
So there's the bonfire. So
bonfire you for 2.
And I don't know if there's going to be a redirect. Probably should be a redirect. And then
it's going to transform him. And they need to transform Garrick.
Oh, no. I think the transform is part of the fight ability, isn't it?
No. It's whenever he has fewer than 3, he transforms.
Yeah, but I mean, he just died.
He just died anyway.
Snapcaster Mage finished him off, and here comes the Wolffish Silverheart.
Right.
So Godenis still has a Dissipate in his hand.
And he's trying to get to the point where he can apply pressure and sit on that Dissipate.
Yeah. I mean, Ken doesn't really have a lot going for him.
No.
All he has, I think that's just 2 pillars in his hand. Pillar Flame.
He's going to attack because he's got a pillar. So if you have 2 pillars, you just use them both on the Wolfir here, right?
I think so.
Pass
one
the
of those
turn.
Is actually.
Ooh, this is risky.
Looting.
If Godenis hits, okay, so Godenis did not hit a creature.
No, but now he's at that point where he can, you know.
Well, he didn't even flash back Faithless Looting. What is he going to do with his mana this turn?
I don't know. Maybe he has.
He just passed the turn and did nothing.
Well, if he has 2 cards that he really wants, does he really get that much value out of it?
Well, if he really wants those cards, it should be because it can deal with Wolfir Silverheart. And if that's not the case, then those aren't the 2 cards you really want.
So Ken has a Pillar, a Flame, and a Brimstone Volley in his hand. That's the.
Well, he needs to use these spells.
He needs to do something.
Yeah,
with it.
I mean, he's leaving a lot of mana untapped here, and he's got a lot of things he can be doing.
And he's losing this race. He's at 8.
Yeah, he took 6, and now he's taking 4 every turn to hit the 2 that he's dealing.
Yeah, he's been making a lot of ambitious attacks with that Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, and I like that mentality. Okay, we have a Wolfir Avenger come down, and then
double.
Whoa!
Wait,
was it just
Flame is a sorcery, isn't it?
It was double Brimstone Volley.
Oh, there was 2 Brimstone Volleys.
Right. And he's going to use him to take out the big boy there. But he's still losing this race. He's going to be dropped to 5 here. And if Godenis would have ripped, like, increasing savagery, it just would have been the game.
I mean, the way that this game is still going, Godenis is
in
this race because the Snapcaster Mage gets in there again.
I mean, outside of a Terminus or something, I don't think Godenis is going to lose this game. He's sitting on a Dissipate still.
Yeah. So now the Snapcaster Mage sits back, so it's just going to be a road bump. for the Avenger.
He's going to block right now.
But then it still has
I
Dissipate.
think I would have waited to turn to block, but
Well, I mean, if you're waiting to turn to block, then you should have attacked.
and I would have probably done that
Yeah.
too.
4 mana, and
That's the Arcwing Dragon?
that is Arcwing Dragon. I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
so maybe he was trying to wait the longest so that he could use his burn spells to dome Godennis. That was his plan.
I mean that was a race, but
It ended up being that he would just die instead, but he tried.
That's a tough race to win. The
I
only
mean,
way
if
to
you've got
really
two
win
brimstones.
Yeah, the way to win it is if your guy dies for some reason. That's 10 damage. Maybe he should have
Which he can make that happen. All right, Wolfir Silverheart, pair it up, and you are dead.
All right, so Goodness ties it up at 1 apiece. There he is, Lithuanian Zal.
Ground that one out. I mean, they both mulled to 5. Didn't Ken still have like a Faithless Looting in his yard though?
He did, but he had 2 Brimstone Volleys in his hand. So basically all you're doing is hoping that those 2 cards that you draw are worse than the Brimstone Volleys because you don't want to discard them.
And his game plan at the time, as we can see now, was to attack Godennis to 10,
Yeah.
and then leave a blocker up, and then just block and kill.
Yeah, I mean the only way that flashing back Faithless Looting is to play is if you know those top 2 cards are garbage. Because they're not going to be better than double Brimstone Volley.
Right, especially, and it makes a lot more sense why we saw Ken be so aggressive with that Snapcaster. He was really trying to work to go to 10.
Gotta get you down to 10.
Yep.
Gotta get you. That's all I gotta do.
Yep.
Get you down to 10.
I mean, it was a risky line, but given the fact that he had to mold to 5 and he didn't have a lot of other action going, it makes a lot of sense.
So we haven't gotten a chance to see Lone Revenant. Maybe Lone Revenant doesn't stay in the game. Games 2 and 3.
I mean, how good is a 4/4 hexproof against Godennis' deck? Not very. It's okay. I'd probably take it out. I mean,
So-
if I had other stuff.
So I'm only assuming that everyone is enjoying these games of Magic and not looking at a black screen because, you know, I'm looking at Twitter.
Yeah, no, they're not.
and I didn't see any new tweets.
No, they let us know right away before. They let us know again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. There's like Twitter gets really quiet, I guess, when the matches are playing.
Yeah.
Everyone's just paying attention
Yeah.
to you know all the great games that are going on.
Yeah,
And,
scripting
you know,
stuff.
There's nothing to talk about, I guess. We must be doing a perfect job because you know no one's saying that we messed up.
I will follow you in that assumption.
That's what it means. No feedback means perfection.
I like positive feedback.
From the internet?
Look, I can show you some.
Well, maybe.
People like you, Rashad. You have to.
I appreciate that. Oh, we just got a tweet, dude. You just got a tweet. Someone just got a tweet. There's a tweet.
All right, so it looks like Ken's going to keep his hand. He's going to lead off with an Evolving Wilds. And Godennis has the ubiquitous turn 1 Avacyn's Pilgrim.
That's been a turn 1 play of Pro Tour Avacyn Restored. I remember
Oh,
saying
it
that
sure was.
so many times. So many times.
I've seen a bunch of them here, too. Ken is just waiting to cut, and then we're going to see what he's going to do.
I just went and got some technology while Ken Lyman played the Plains.
He didn't actually play the Plains. Does your technology tell you that? Or?
No, I was trying to pretend like I was actually here watching.
I know
the
you
games,
were.
and it wasn't.
Huh? Okay,
thanks.
I told you it exists.
I mean,
Santana, thank you.
I thank you as well.
I told you people are cool on the internet.
There's a Cavern of Souls, and in case you were in case you didn't know, the Cavern of Souls ruling is, I guess, reversed.
Yeah.
So,
we mentioned that, and
It's naming cleric. So it's naming cleric.
it's naming spirit.
Is it? It's naming cleric.
Cleric,
So it's
okay.
naming cleric. I don't know if there are any other clerics in Godennis' deck, but as long as he's casting the cleric with that, we're assuming that he's using the mana ability.
Which you did, yeah, and you have to assume it that way. Looks like Brimstone Volley is going to come down on an Avacyn's Pilgrim, and Ken looks like he's just trying to play a game where he locks out Dennis on his mana.
Yeah, that Pilgrim already did a lot of work, and
it enabled a turn 2 Geist.
Yeah, and just trying to bank on not having another land, like Dennis not having a third land. I mean, that doesn't even deal with the problem that there's a Geist of St. Traff there, just unopposed.
Yeah,
can attack, get a buddy, come attack with me. We got some planeswalkers to kill.
Yeah,
Ken being a planeswalker.
Right, and Ken the planeswalker has 14 loyalty counters on it.
There should be. Well, no, that would be too. That would be a little bit too.
I'm curious what a Ken emblem looks like.
I think it's just a piece of paper. It's a whole piece of paper.
Terminus off the top for Ken. That's a big one. That's a really big one. He needs to deal with that Geist of St. Traff, and he just did at really the earliest convenience. Yeah, it goes on the bottom. It's going to get shuffled anyway.
Terminus is just such
a beating.
You know what? You don't feel bad playing that sweeper for one mana, because it's 1 mana. It feels like, if that were Swords to Plowshares, if that were, Condemn or any of those other 1 mana white spells that that deals with 1 creature, you're fine to play that.
Yeah, Path to Exile.
Yeah, Path to Exile. Get rid of that guy for 1 mana.
Yeah, that wouldn't work in this situation.
Yeah, but Terminus off the top is better.
Man, that was good. And you're pretty happy to 1-for-1 it, although Dennis just instantly plays another one.
And those are pretty much sweeper proof because you can't really have 2 and play at once. Or I guess you just sweep her yourself.
Yeah.
Dennis wouldn't do that.
Dennis got an island.
Well, he'd need it.
He might have a Dissipate in his hand. Why? I mean, if I'm Ken, I'm assuming he has a Dissipate now because you'd probably just get a Plains normally, right?
Well, I mean,
does it not matter at all? Is Geist the only thing that he plays for white?
Yeah, I think Geist is the only white spell that he has. And it's already named Cleric, so he doesn't need to.
And he's already got his other one down.
Anything other than I think is Nearhearth Pilgrim also
Near
a
Heath
cleric?
Pilgrim?
Yeah, Near Heath Pilgrim is also a cleric. I think it's a human cleric. So that makes a lot of sense.
And he has those here.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
You're
it's a
right.
human cleric.
It is a cleric. Look at you.
I'm just lucky. Lucky. That's me.
Grand Prix competitors.
Ken's just a little bit in the tank.
8 man events in 1.5 hours.
He's facing down another Geist of St. Traff. And he's at 8, so that's not a lot of attack. So there's Tameo.
What is Tameo going to do here?
I can only see it either tapping the Cavern of Souls or drawing a card.
Right.
And 5 mana draw 1 card isn't the best spell out there.
Now he does have a Terminus in his hand. He can't cast it currently. He needs another mana.
So it is going to tap the Cavern.
It is, but it's just. I guess it is going to absorb a hit here, but Ken is at 8.
I think I think the play is you attack Tameo with the Geist and you attack Ken for 4. Oh no! I don't think you do that. I think you just
don't you just ignore Tameo?
Yeah, you can ignore Tameo. You Ken down to 2, and that makes either the creatures lethal.
Yeah, and anything else you put on the board too. Yeah. I see a Wolfear Avenger in Dennis's hand as well. He can't cast it though. I think you just attack Ken here. You don't want to use your entire combat step to take out Tameo. I mean, although he does have to consider that if Ken does hit Terminus, he will still be alive, and Tameo on the board is really bad if that's the case. He's just going to attack him.
Yeah, I think you just bring him down to 2 and just make a lot more of your cards.
Do we have a Dissipate in Go Dennis's hand? That's going to be the key here.
I think so. I think that's his Dissipate right there on the top.
All right, it is a land. It comes into play on tap, so he is going to be able to Terminus here. So the Dissipate is the question. There's a Terminus, and that is a Dissipate, and that's the hand.
Yeah, I guess he could have just tapped the island to stop the Dissipate from happening. Yeah, tapping the island with Tameo would stop the Dissipate.
I don't think he thought of that.
Evidently not. Congratulations to Dennis Vidugiris. He wins this round 7. I don't know what the records were. They're probably both either undefeated or close to undefeated. I'd like to think that Dennis is on his way to making another day 2 at a GP.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see some more of Ken and his deck. His deck is pretty...
I really like Ken's deck. I think Ken's deck was awesome. I want to play decks like that.